delighted to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for today's program, Lynette Romero, an award-winning journalist and co-anchor of NBC4 Today in LA. Our MC has earned 6 local Emmys, 4 Golden Mics, and was named the 2022 Latina Journalist of the Year. She is particularly passionate about raising awareness of Alzheimer's. Lynette lives in Los Angeles with her husband David, and her daughter Olivia is a student at UCSD. Ladies and gentlemen, we are thrilled to give a very warm welcome back to this stage to Lynette Romero.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. Now I get to get a good look at you. I've been sitting in the front, and I feel like you guys are all looking at me, but now I get to look at you. You all look gorgeous. Thank you so much for being here and for the warm welcome. I have done the coronation for the Rose Queen a number of years. Every once in a while, I have to step back and let somebody else do it, but mostly I love doing it. And I have to tell you why. I get so inspired by these girls. And every time I meet them, I'm kind of, my heart fills up and I think, we're going to be okay. You know, because I cover a lot of really bad things that happen in this world. And so sometimes I go home and my heart hurts. And I think, what's going to happen? And then I meet these girls and I know we're going to be okay. They're fantastic. They're delightful. They're warm. They're caring. They're generous. They're brilliant. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do. I was sharing with them when I first met them that as the years have gone by, and as we now are all into social media, the royal court will share our Instagram handles, and we start following each other. And so I get to keep up with them. Like, I know where they're going to college. I know what they're doing. I don't always comment on their posts because I know where my boundaries are. I have a daughter in college, right? But I see what they're doing, and they're doing great things, and I'm watching them grow up and blossom and bloom. And so I feel so privileged to be a part of that process, and really privileged to be here with all of you. And I can't wait to introduce you to the amazing court, and I can't wait to find out who's going to be queen. So thank you again so much for letting me be here. I'm always amazed at how there's so much history. You know, you pull up to the tournament house and you think, wow, so many amazing people have come through these gates and have sat in this courtyard and been part of this history. And now all of you are part of that history, and we are here to witness it. So thank you so much for letting us be a part of this. 135 years of history. That's what we're talking about here. And not only that, like, we're impacted by it living here in Southern California, but think about all the people around the world, not just across the country, but around the world who have watched this and who have wished that, gosh, I wish I was in Pasadena for New Year's Day. And yet we're lucky enough to be part of this. And they all look forward to this annual tradition. It's the official start to their fresh new year. So much beauty. My mind always goes back to all of these young women who've been part of this royal court. When you go through the hallways and you see some of the past queens, the past court, it takes your breath away, because this is something that means something. We've gathered today to meet and celebrate and get to know this year's Rose Court. It's important to note, though, that bringing these people together is really what the Tournament House, the Tournament of Roses, is all about. It is about community. It is about tradition. The theme of this year's parade is about how music brings us together, uniting us in a shared language. And here to elaborate on that theme is the 2024 Tournament of Roses president, Alex Agajanian. You're welcome. I just noticed your tie. That's perfect.
You want it?
No, I can't take your tie. But my he just asked me if I wanted his tie. I just complimented him. My co-anchor, Adrian, might want your tie, because, you know, every time I wear a different color, I text him the picture of what I'm wearing and then the color, and he goes, I don't have a tie that color. This tie has every color.
We can make a deal. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Lynette. Welcome, everyone, to the exciting afternoon. Having served on the Queen and Court Committee twice in the past, this time-honored tradition has a very special place in my heart. And today is one of the moments I've been looking forward to all year. As Lynette shared, the 2024 theme brings us together through music. In a world of different cultures, beliefs, hopes, and dreams, one language unites us all: music. We do not need to speak the same language to enjoy the beat of a song, because the sound, texture, rhythm, form, harmony, and expression meld us together to move, smooth, excite, and delight the world. From bossa nova to blues, classical to country, metal to mariachi, and rock to rap, thousands of genres invite us to become one together in celebrating a world of music. My wife Paula and I, Paula, have had a chance to meet and to get to know these 7 young women expertly selected by our Queen and Court Committee. And to say that they are smart, funny, accomplished, compassionate, and relatable only begins to describe what makes them extraordinary. But I do not need to spend a bunch of time telling you this. We're going to see and hear from them in just a few minutes. I would like to also extend my sincere gratitude to the parents. And if I can have the parents stand up. And the family members with the parents, I'm sorry. You should be very proud of your young ladies, and I know you are. I would also like to recognize the schools, teachers, communities that have supported these Rose Court members. Thank you for letting them become part of our tournament family as well as yours. On Monday, January 1st, 2024, when a live audience along the parade route of 750,000 people and a broadcast audience of more than 45 million viewers worldwide are watching the greatest parade in the world, we will all enjoy, especially the small children who watch our parade, seeing one of the most beautiful, anticipated floats, the one carrying the Rose Queen and her Rose Court. My sincere thanks to all who have made this day possible: the Coronation Committee, the Queen and Court Committee, and the many tournament members who spend countless hours, to our wonderful professional staff, sponsors, and MC. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of this afternoon. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you so much, Alex. You know, there are so many people who have made this beautiful afternoon possible. So before we meet the court, I do want to take a few moments to introduce and to thank these special guests. First, this lunch and the Rose Court would not be possible without the generosity of our presenting sponsor, Citizens Business Bank. It has been a treasured relationship for many years, and on behalf of the Tournament of Roses and the Rose Court, we want to thank you so much for your support. One more round of applause, please. If we could take a moment to welcome the President and Chief Executive Officer of Citizens Business Bank, Dave Brager. Dave, if you please would stand up so we could give you a proper thank you. Thank you so much. That's a nice tie, too. I'm like eyeing all of your ties now. Everybody wants a deal. All right. In addition to being our presenting sponsor, we are fortunate to have a dedicated group of talented, loyal, and supportive sponsors. So please join me in thanking the outstanding team at Macy's who provide the Rose Court with their fantastic wardrobe every year. They look beautiful. And Tadashi Shoji, who generously donates the fabulous formal gowns that will be worn by the court later today. They're going to be gorgeous. We have no doubt about it. Thank you. To Diane Hoover and the team at Mikimoto, who make sure these young women sparkle with their beautiful crown and tiaras. and to the tremendously talented team at the Paul Mitchell School here in Pasadena who ensure the court shines with hair and makeup throughout the season. Last but not least, the gorgeous floral decor. Just take a look around how gorgeous. Bouquets, arrangements, all of them that you will see today and at many of the related events throughout the year are all provided by the talented Kim Williams and the enchanted florist of Burbank. We thank you for all that you do, all that you have done, all that you will continue to do to make this an unbelievable year for the Rose Court. To the generous folks at Passion Growers who have once again graciously provided single red roses for all of you today, thank you, Passion Roses. I know all of you are as eager as I am to hear from this year's Rose Court. But before we do that, all 7 members of our Rose Court are still in high school. They're going to be graduating next year to explore new adventures near and far, but they will forever be a part of the Tournament of Roses family, and several guests in today's audience are proof of that. Today, we are honored to be joined by Rose Queens from throughout the tournament's history. Queens, please stand up. Once a queen, always a queen. Isn't that right? Are you guys watching this? The next queens are watching this, right? I hope so. There's just something really special about that, you know, to know that you come back to this family, you're part of a community forever, forever and ever. And there are not a lot of places that that's always true. Some people, like, you know, they move on and they don't come back, but you come back. And that really has something special about that. That says something. So I really love that. All right. So before we continue on, I have to, let me see, I'm sorry. Oh, it's time. It's time to honor and introduce the 2024 Rose Court. You guys ready? Yes. So let me tell you a little bit about them. These 7 young ladies, they highlight the mosaic of backgrounds and cultures that define the Pasadena community and exemplify the character, service, and leadership modeled throughout their commitment to family, school, and community. Please join me in welcoming the first member of our Rose Court, Olivia Bohanitz. While she is walking up here, let me tell you that Olivia is a senior at LaSalle Preparatory. She lives in Altadena. Go ahead, you can hoot and holler. Thank you. Don't be afraid. We're all friends here. She's a senior at LaSalle Preparatory. Olivia lives in Altadena and is the daughter of Vincent Bohanitz and Angela Terrasas. I'm going to take this out of the way. Sorry. Thank you.
How many of you in this room are familiar with Trader Joe's? Okay, all right. If you're not, it's history, Pasadena history. In fact, the first store was opened right here in Pasadena in 1967. Now, there are 560 stores nationwide. Pretty cool, right? If there is one very important fact that you need to know about me, it's that I can spend hours at Trader Joe's. A fact that sometimes makes my mom wish she left me at home when she does the grocery shopping. Ever since I was a little girl, sitting in the red carts as my mom or dad stocked up on the weekly groceries, I was in awe of every item on the shelves, whether it was their sour cream and onion corn puffs, crispy orange chicken, or the sublime ice cream sandwich. Every item at Trader Joe's is unique and delicious. As I have gotten older, my love for Trader Joe's hasn't left. In my sophomore year, I joked around with one of my cross-country coaches at the idea of a Trader Joe's club. It wasn't until my teammates started to join in on the conversation when we realized that this club could become a reality. You might be thinking to yourself, did this girl really make a club all about a grocery store? What does a Trader Joe's club even do? To answer those questions, yes, I did make a club all about a grocery store. Established in the fall of 2021, the club has grown tremendously. Currently, we have a whopping 98 members. Pretty good for a high school club, right? It started as a way for me to meet more people after the entirety of my freshman year took place on a laptop screen. It soon grew into a way for people to have a shared passion while simultaneously giving back to the community. I believe that one of the most unique aspects of this club is that it's a combination of students and teachers who happily squish into a classroom twice a month, bonding over their favorite snacks. Another amazing aspect? We use our love for Trader Joe's to give back to the community by collecting donations that are given to the Elizabeth House in Pasadena, which is an organization dedicated to sheltering expectant mothers and their children who are experiencing homelessness. As my years in high school have progressed, the Trader Joe's Club has grown too. In my junior year, I was able to get in contact with their corporate office, who invited members of my club to be a part of their podcast. My little idea was making podcast news. They wanted to share with their audience what our club was all about. Another bonus? We got to sample items that hadn't even been released to shelves yet. Yeah, that was pretty cool. This opportunity definitely took me out of my comfort zone, but how could I pass up on such a great experience? What I did not realize is that my unusual passion about a grocery store unlocked possibilities for me that I never deemed possible. For a majority of my life, I was constantly stuck trying to fit into a mold and be someone I'm not. I lacked a serious amount of self-confidence. While it is true that I formed this club on the basis of a grocery store, the lessons I learned from it will forever aid me in all of my future endeavors. This club helped me bring people together over their shared love of a grocery store, and if I could do that, then it seemed possible for me to have the confidence in other areas of my life as well. If you can believe it, these lessons that I learned helped me become captain of my cross-country team in my junior and senior year, along with captain of the track team in my junior year as well. So, as I leave you today, I ask you, do you have a Trader Joe's Club story? If so, how has it changed you? Don't be afraid to share your passions. You never know where it may lead you. Thank you.
They are full of surprises, right? Who knew? That is so fantastic. Thank you so much, Olivia. All right. Next, please help me welcome Trinity De La Cruz. Trinity is a senior at Marshall Fundamental School. She lives in Pasadena and is the daughter of Juan De La Cruz and Patty Judy.
Thank you for that lovely introduction, and I just want to take a quick second to thank everybody who supported me throughout this journey. So, we've all been there, standing in an elevator, awkwardly waiting to reach our floor. The elevator's blasting some cool jazz as you watch the numbers slowly climb the floors, and you're just waiting to get out. You see, when I say elevator music, you probably think of some cool jazz. Or when I say middle school garage boy band, you probably think of some pretty passionately but pretty poorly played emo punk rock. No offense to Diego, your band was amazing. And now this one's extra specific. When I say Old Navy, what do you think of? Some overly played pop tunes from 2017. You see, every environment, experience, and memory that we have, we associate with music. Let's try something for a second. I'm going to sing a lyric and you finish it. Just a small town girl. Well, that was beautiful. I think I'm hearing the new official Tournament of Roses choir. But you see, we all come from vastly different backgrounds, and yet we can all finish that same lyric. Music reaches every corner of the earth. It gives us a common ground, and that is something to celebrate because it's our universal language. I myself come from a very musical background. My mother, grew up singing in her church choirs and was a member of her marching band. Now she currently works for the Pasadena Unified School District as a teacher at Sierra Madre Elementary, where she teaches other children how to embrace music. My father also grew up playing the violin and was the drum major of his marching band. From a young age, my parents taught my siblings and me to embrace ourselves and express ourselves. And for all of us, that was through music. When I was very young, around 9 years old, I joined my church choir. And my brother and I always were singing for the anthems and the offertories. We were always singing duets, and during Christmas time, the Judy Dela Cruz family was booked and busy. So if you guys ever need a last-minute gig, you know who to call. When I study, I can't have music in the background of focus because that music becomes my focus. My parents understood that, and they understood the importance of how music influences and affects us. So they let music be my teacher. Music is so much more than the melodies that you hear. Through music, I've learned the importance of leadership through my extensive role as the drum major of Marshall Fundamental's Mighty Eagle Marching Band. I've learned professionalism through my work in operas with the LA Opera and the LA Philharmonic. A lot of my music experience has been through ensembles, such as orchestras, bands, and choirs, which has taught me the importance of collaboration. To be able to create music and to feel music with other people requires a collaborative understanding. If you've ever heard an amazing ensemble, you want to know why they sound as amazing as they do? Because they collaborate with one another, they listen, they blend, and they understand one another. That and a little bit of practice. Celebrating a world of music, a universal language is our theme. And one of the most important things I've learned through music is the power of communication. My sister, Eden Dela Cruz, has Down syndrome, and when she was about 10 years old, she had a regression that has left her, for the most part, nonverbal. But the one way that my family is able to communicate with her still and to relate with her is through music. Now, Eden is a pretty loud girl. She can't help it. She's joyful. So if you've heard a few giggles, that is her over here. But whenever we are in a concert, she is absolutely silent, captivated by all of the sounds she's hearing. And she goes to a lot of concerts. We currently have 3 active performers in my family. I've also had the privilege of being able to take my music internationally. I've traveled to Spain and Mexico with the Los Angeles Children's Chorus, and I had the experience in Spain to work with another children's chorus. And my 3 years of high school Spanish only took me so far. However, the harmonies and energy that was created in that room when we started singing transcended any cultural or language barriers that existed. And that is absolutely something worth celebrating. You see, music is such an amazing thing because you decide and you determine how music teaches you. You determine how you let it affect you. Music can make you feel so many different things. It can make you feel happy and it can make you feel sad. It can motivate you and it can make you want to take a nap. It can throw us way back and it can catapult us forward. I can guarantee you that no matter how you're feeling, there's a piece out there for you that relates to exactly how you're feeling. Music can make us feel like we're not alone, and that's the beauty of it. Music can be so many things. It gives us a chance to understand, experience, and appreciate different cultures and different stories. It can unlock new feelings and understandings, paint stories, and expand our imaginations. No music is unimportant music. From the elevator music to the street musicians playing on the sidewalks of old Pasadena, music is everywhere and we cannot escape it. So I invite you to no longer let the background music just be background music. I invite you to embrace it, to learn from it, and to feel it. Thank you. Thank you.
Trinity, thank you. Is there music playing in Trader Joe's? I don't know. I'm next time I go to Trader Joe's, I'm going to listen for that music. All right. Next, we have a senior at South Pasadena High School. Yeah, Phoebe Ho is next. And Phoebe is the daughter of Philip and Pauline Ho, and Phoebe lives in South Pasadena.
You can either be white or exceptional. And even then, you will never be any greater than the skinny white girl next to you. My ballet teacher said to me the moment I returned empty-handed from my first dance competition. Growing up as an Asian dancer, I was acutely aware of the differences surrounding myself and the dancers around me, but I hadn't viewed it as a disadvantage or as something bad up until that point. From then, my entire focus shifted from genuinely loving dance and being passionate about the sport to striving to be not only as good as, but to be the best. Truthfully speaking, I just wanted to have the advantage the other dancers had, making it up on that podium. 4 years and a new studio later, I fiercely competed with dancers who were vigorous and way beyond exceptional. Often, I felt judged. It wasn't something intentional or purposeful on their part, but I had amassed such a narrow mindset that everything I did with diffidence. At every competition and every convention I attended, I was flanked by dancers who fit the stereotype perfectly, resulting in one of them up on that podium. Experiencing this repeatedly made me lose my passion for dance, and more importantly, I hated myself for being Asian. I hadn't realized how much I had hurt myself until I had quit ballet last year. I had always believed that the discriminations around me were the reason I had struggled so much in the dance community, when in reality, the root of my experiences was the mindset I had developed while being influenced by the words and circumstances. Despite my fear, I decided to step back into the studio. As I reacquainted myself with movement, I finally understood the purpose of dance. It wasn't about being a competition or being a sport. It was about art and expression. In my recovery from losing myself in my own mind, I wanted to change the way people saw dance. I wanted to shift their perspectives on what a dancer should look like, how they should dance, and what dance really is. In the past year, I began researching the benefits of movement and found myself interning at Lineage Performing Arts Center, where I connected with several individuals undergoing the Dance for Joy program led by Michelle Kolb. Through conversations with her and those individuals, I gained insight and exposure to utilizing dance as a form of movement therapy to improve cognitive function. With these new experiences, I was inspired to dedicate my Gold Award, the highest achievement a Girl Scout can earn, by bettering her community with a struggle, topic, or issue they feel strongly about, and I wanted to create a documentary highlighting the benefits of movement. Currently, I'm teaching dancers with neurological conditions dance that helps benefit cognitive function, highlighting the benefits of movement while also advocating for healthier mindsets of dancers and the dance community. My love for engineering expanded, and through this project, I decided I wanted to pursue a career in neuroscience. And more importantly, it impacted my decision to major in biomedical engineering and neuroengineering. What I had realized at the end of this entire experience was that all that had happened was due to a matter of perspective. I had viewed the environment around me to be toxic and competitive. My motivation had stemmed from a negative place influenced by dance history. Changing that motivation and ambition from something pessimistic to something inspiring allowed me the room to grow. I regrew my love for dance, and instead of striving to be the best, I now strive to utilize dance to benefit the community. So as we all sit here now, I want you to consider a negative impact on your life. Whether it be significant or little, I want you to change your perspective on how you view that negative impact. Either you can change the way from bad to good, something simple as motivation, or you can put yourself in somebody else's shoes to change your perspective. Either way, some small change in perspective can impact your outtake on life. What I had learned, if I had learned anything from this entire experience, was that circumstances could be permanent, but the way you view them and your perspective on them is completely up to you. Thank you.
Phoebe, thank you so much for sharing that. Next, please join me in welcoming Mia Moore Walker. She is a senior at Flintridge Preparatory School. Mia is the daughter of Bradley Walker and Jennifer Moore Walker, and Mia lives in Pasadena.
Hi, everybody. I want to tell you all a story. Imagine this. My arms were burning, shaking with every breath, and my hold was slipping. But I reached for the last bar, and I swung myself to safety. This was the crowning moment of my existence. This was my biggest accomplishment at that age. Conquering the monkey bars. As I reached the end of the bars, I heard a voice in the back of my head. Never give up. These were the words my mom had been telling me since I was a little girl. Watching her work her way through law school as a single mother showed me what perseverance and hard work looked like. Through watching her perseverance, I gained my own. Everybody, look at the person to your right. I mean, everybody, actually do it. Now look at the person to your left. There is a 95% chance that person set goals at the beginning of this year that they did not complete. When most people here never give up, they often imagine waking up at 6 a.m. to go to the gym, or staying up until midnight to finish that report. And while I do commend those 6 a.m. gym goers, they are not the only example of perseverance. What does it mean to truly never give up? When asked this question, I see mistakes. True perseverance is missing the 6 a.m. bus to the gym, but going anyway at 5 p.m. Persistence means making mistakes and doing it anyway. You might be wondering if I uphold my own values of persistence. And I try to every day. The first step to this is rejecting the statistic that 95% of people here have yet to complete their New Year's resolution, and admitting that we still have 2 more months left to do so many amazing things. If anyone knows what persistence is, it's the people in this room who represent the Rose Parade, which has persisted all the way since 1890 and reaches new amazing heights every single year. I have really big dreams, and it's going to take a lot of persistence to achieve them. My dreams go as far as a millennium. Like so many people who've said these words, I want to change the world. But I know that I will, because I never give up. My ambition for change has manifested in the world of conservation. My junior year, I decided I was going to make an impact. So I conducted research examining the use of natural fertilizer to prevent the harmful effects of these chemicals on the ecosystem. I wanted a project that looked at a problem and found a solution. So that's what I did. My project then went on to win first place at LA County Science Fair and second at California State. As I stood there with my award, I realized that I wasn't satisfied. My dreams went so much farther than that piece of plastic in my hand. I wanted to bend the world. I wanted to reshape it. As I tried to figure out why I wasn't satisfied, I realized it was because my persistence comes from my passion for a greener world. I want you all to imagine the most beautiful view you've ever seen. The mountains, the trees, the flowers, the birds. And now, I want you to think about what you heard. The theme of this year is a world of music, and my favorite genre is the most natural kind of all. My strings are the crickets humming their subtle tunes. My percussion are the nuts and acorns connecting with the ground, and my lead singers are the owls we all hear late at night. This is where my persistence comes from, because how could I give up on this world-renowned choir called nature? My passion fuels my persistence. But my drive to never give up is not specific to me. It's in every single person here. As an aspiring ecologist, I can't come up here and not explain to you the science of persistence. Let's all go back about 1,000 or so years ago. Homo sapiens had one goal and one goal only: genetic fitness. or in layman's terms, to stay alive. Humans today have the luxury of giving up. On a treadmill, you can press that little red button and stop running. However, a few thousand years ago, when a saber-toothed tiger was right behind you, there was no red button. If you stopped running, then the consequence was, we'll say, unfavorable. Natural selection did not favor the fast runner who gave up easily, but the average runner who wouldn't stop running until the tiger was tired out. Evolution has favored those who persevere. So if you are here today, that means that there is something inside of you that is predisposed to never give up. The drive I had to finish the monkey bars is in every single one of us. I am someone who never gives up, and so is every single person here today. Thank you.
Mia, thank you so much. Now, please welcome Jessica Powell. Jessica is also a senior at Flintridge Preparatory School. Jessica lives in Pasadena and is the daughter of David and Kara Powell.
What do you want to be when you grow up? We're all asked that question a lot when we're younger. And while my classmates would say president, astronaut, or even singer, I had a bit of a different answer. As confident as ever, I would say, I want to be a librarian at my local Pasadena library. The library was my second home. I loved it there and loved reading even more. So much so that I proudly won the highest number of books checked out in my elementary school from 4th to 6th grade. Yes, thank you, thank you. However, imagine my shock when someone finally pulled me aside and told me that although librarians are people with a passion for education and community service, they're volunteers, so unfortunately they do not get paid for their work. While I love volunteering and plan on doing so in the future at my local library, unfortunately, you can't make a living off of it. You may wonder why I thought so much about my future career, especially at such a young age. And well, it's because I grew up with parents who both loved their work. My dad, as an engineer, and my mother, as vice president of Fuller Seminary, both had such passion for their jobs and worked very hard at their careers. I could see how much easier their work was every day and how fulfilled they felt at the end of their days because they loved what they were doing so much. Ever since, I had two requirements for my new future career. First, I wanted to help people. And secondly, because of the example my parents set, I wanted a career in something I was passionate about, which is rarer in our worlds than you might think. A recently released report done by Gallup discovered that around 60% of workers internationally reported feelings of emotional disattachment at their workplace. Even worse, 19% of the workers would go so far as to say feeling miserable at their work. With these odds so aggressively stacked against me, how could I find a career that I was passionate about so that I loved my work and loved what I was doing, even on the more stressful days, if my first choice, librarian, wasn't sustainable? Maybe you've grown up around people like my parents, the ones who love their work and you can see it every day. Or maybe you've seen people who fit the other side of the statistic, the ones who don't feel quite so emotionally connected. Regardless of your age and career choice or career stage, when your first choice job isn't available or you don't even have a first choice, how do you find the career that's best for you? Someone once told me that when you don't know what to do, keep pulling on the threads of your passions. As the years passed, I got older and I had a lot of passions. At age 9, I realized I loved climbing trees and spending time in nature. So I thought maybe I'd become a national park ranger. At age 12, I realized that I loved taking pictures. So I thought maybe I should become a photographer. And much to my parents' chagrin, when I was 14, I realized that I loved arguing. And also history, so I thought maybe I should become a lawyer. There are some lawyers in the crowd. Sorry about that joke. However, even though I loved all these passions, including arguing, I wasn't sure if any of them were the right one for me. So I kept pulling on the threads of my passions. Sophomore year, All that pulling on those threads paid off when I took AP Biology and loved it. I'd always had a natural interest in taking things apart. When I was younger, I would disassemble clocks, pens, even Rubik's Cubes, anything I could get my hands on really, as an attempt to learn more about their inner workings. Some may label my actions as destructive, but I merely considered them to be a form of scientific research. What draws me to biology so much is that it's the study of the complex inner workings of humans. As the class progressed and I dove deeper into the work, I kept thinking to myself that this is what I want to do. I want to change the world through science. Less than 2 months after I realized that I had a passion for science, I was interning at a cancer prevention lab at Sanford Burnham Medical Institute in San Diego, a facility dedicated to solving some of medicine's toughest problems. For the last 15 months, I've served as an intern at Huntington Medical Research Institute here in Pasadena, where I focused on neurological and cardiological research. I've taken every advanced science course that's been available to me, honors chemistry, honors anatomy, and even AP physics, and I've loved every single class, even the more boring lectures. Diving so fast and headfirst into the scientific field has been a lot of hard work, but because I loved what I was doing, it never felt like a task or a chore that I needed to do. After years of searching, I had finally felt the feeling that I could see in my parents. I understood what they were feeling, and it felt great. So, as I leave you, I want to offer you the same helpful advice that helped me when I was stuck. Whatever age or career stage you're at, keep pulling on the threads of your passions. It might take a lot of pulling, and you'll probably reach a couple knots, but if you keep at it, you'll one day end up with a beautiful bow that will make our world a more loving and beautiful place. Thank you.
Jessica, thank you. All right, now let's hear from Naomi Stilitano, a senior at Arcadia High School. Naomi lives in Arcadia and is the daughter of Piero Stilitano and Nerida Gonzalez.
Sentirsi al sicuro con ciò che hai è pericoloso, perché non avrai mai più la voglia di cambiare la tua vita. Sticking with what's familiar is risky, because you'll never want to change your life. Now let's picture a scenario. What if I asked you all to stand up and sit at a different table? Inconvenient, but easy, right? Well, there's a twist. There's always a twist. The twist is you can't sit next to or near the person you are currently seated with. So if you're next to your best friend, your wife, your husband, family member, acquaintance, you have to leave them and sit next to a whole new set of strangers. Would you do it? Scientists say that 71% of you would not move because 71% of people fear change. Change happens every second of our lives, so why do we fear it? And how does giving in to that fear stop us from achieving our goals? You see, I was born and raised in Italy, and when I was young, I used to go visit my grandparents, or nonna and nonno, every weekend. Now, I lived in the center of Rome, while they lived in Calabria, which is about a 5 to 6 hour drive. But we took it faithfully, and when we arrived, we were greeted with a big hug and a buffet of home-cooked food. The smell of coffee brewing and the Italian news talking about politics was the norm in my loving home. I came to understand the value of change when I was only 7 years old. That's when me and my family moved from Italy to America. And boy, did I struggle, having to leave everything behind. I was terrified to go to a new school where I did not speak English and had no friends. I had to learn a whole new culture at such a young age. Fortunately, I had the right support by my side, and as uncomfortable as it was, I embraced the change. I practiced my English every day. I talked to that one new person. I spoke up, raised my hand, asked for help because I was committed. I can honestly say now that if I kept mourning having to leave my family behind, I would not know the true beauty of change. While I no longer get to spend my weekends in person with my Nona, we bought her an iPad. Now we stay in touch every day on what she calls a magical box. Change does not mean you have to forget about the past, because with the past comes knowledge. With knowledge comes experience, and experience causes change. Embracing change has afforded me to become fluent in English to the point where we only speak Italian in the house, so I won't forget that language. I can't even count the amount of friendships and connections I have made over the years. I picked up new hobbies such as guitar, piano, singing, and theater, hoping to find my passion along the way, and I did. But it came with a risk. See, I wasn't always in the arts. I was an athlete. I began as a swimmer, and I had to leave when I was 13 for a different field. Now, I wasn't sure if I would make it, and I still don't know if I will, but how will I know if I never try? Learning to not fear the unknown was the biggest lesson my childhood has afforded me. Why would I fear not knowing how my story ends if I never gave myself the opportunity to start it? In Italy, they say, chi lascia la strada nuova per quella vecchia sa quel che trova, non sa quel che lascia. Who leaves their old path behind for a new one knows not what they'll find, but knows what they left behind. One thing that makes the Rose Parade so interesting is that each year it's different. It changes, it evolves, whether that's a new band, a new float with pretty flowers, dancers, or a new rose court. Imagine if this 134-year-old parade stayed the same and nothing changed. Now back to that question. How does change stop us from achieving our goals? Life brings change into our world as an opportunity to change, not to scare us. When change comes, that's life testing us, seeing if we'll sit at that same table or meet those new strangers. I learned to embrace change and to not fear it. I wonder if we can all learn to embrace it and experience the growth that you gain from change. Thank you.
Naomi, thank you so much. Although she did tell me that it's pronounced Naomi, but then she told me not to say it. And she also said I wasn't supposed to say Stilitano, but I wanted to say it. Thank you so much. All right. Last but certainly not least, please join me in welcoming Emerson Tucker, a senior from Blair High School. Emerson lives in Pasadena, and Emerson is the daughter of Michael Tucker and Erica Banks Tucker.
Hi, everybody. Okay. To Infinity and Beyond is a quote famously attributed to the character Buzz Lightyear from the movie Toy Story. It embodies the concept of endless possibilities. When I was 4 years old, I dressed up as Buzz Lightyear, and my family and I were in a Halloween parade. And a boy in my grade told me, Buzz Lightyear is not a girl. I wish I could say I ignored his remark, but I didn't. This planted a seed that things are as they are, set in stone and unchangeable. I wondered, why can't Buzz Lightyear be an African-American female? This thought highlighted the power of diverse representation and revealed how deeply ingrained stereotypes can be, even in the worlds of make-believe. In 2015, when I was 9 years old, I had the opportunity to see a Rose Queen of color, and this sparked a new dream in me that I had to chase. It gave me hope and painted a vision of the possibilities, that I too could be a Rose Queen, standing tall on that float. Seeing someone like me represented gave me the confidence to embrace my identity fully. This is why diverse representation is empowering. It serves as a beacon of acceptance in a world that often demands conformity. I want everyone to take a moment. Imagine being the only person that looks like you, the sole individual with your specific skin color, your unique hair, your age, your height, your distinct experiences, perspectives, and heritage. Okay, now stop imagining. This is reality. You are the only person like you. Each of your unique characteristics contributing to a vibrant portrait of diversity, like strokes on a canvas adding depth and richness to a tapestry of human experience. Diverse representation and its transformative power provides a sanctuary where explanation or justification of one's identity is unnecessary. It challenged me to embrace my own differences, reinforcing the idea there is no singular way to be. This encouragement led me to embrace my authentic self, to take pride in my heritage. It is a reminder that each of us holds a story that matters, woven intricately into a tapestry of our shared histories. In a world of countless narratives, diverse representation is the key to dismantling prejudice and fostering a true sense of belonging. It is an invitation to celebrate the mosaic of humanity and recognize that every individual, regardless of their background, deserves to be seen, heard, and valued. Now, as I reflect on this childhood moment, I see it as a catalyst for my journey towards embracing authenticity and championing inclusivity. It reminds me that every step towards representation is a step towards a world where everyone, regardless of their background or identity, is represented. After witnessing the diversity on last year's Rose Court, I was transported back to that moment, reconnected with the heart of the little girl who felt that drive. And I am proud to be part of the 2024 Rose Court, and I'm excited to represent all girls of all ages and colors. And I am hopeful that they will see us and the possibilities for themselves just as I did. The importance of diverse representation is about more than just seeing ourselves in the characters we admire. It's about breaking down barriers. It's about celebrating the human experience. It is up to us to be the changemakers and to challenge the status quo, to assure every child, regardless of who they are or who they want to be, feel empowered to dream without limitations. That's the true power of representation. So to infinity and beyond, to endless possibilities, and in a world of endless possibilities, this is a reminder there is no space for the impossible. Let us embrace representation in all of its forms, not as an abstract ideal, but as a tangible commitment to affirming the inherent worth and dignity of every person, no matter their race, gender, ethnicity, or background. Let us all be our own Buzz Lightyears, unapologetically and beautifully, because Buzz, a fictional character, can be anyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Emerson. Didn't I promise you that you would be inspired and that we're going to be okay, right? With this generation of amazing young women. I know that when I drive away from here, my heart is going to be full. I'm going to know that my daughter is going to grow up in a world like these girls, and they're going to have opportunities that many of us and those who came before us did not have because they're creating it. So thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for your beautiful speeches and opening your hearts and your souls. And I can't wait to see who's going to be queen. And more importantly, I can't wait for all the experiences you guys are going to have as a court. I know that you guys talk a lot about having this sisterhood now that will be forever. But all of you, each one of you has a role to play. And we're going to be looking at you going down Colorado Boulevard, doing that way. You guys all practiced it, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's this way. I thought it was like this. No? That's why I'm not a queen. All right. Thank you so much, you guys. Can we just have them all stand? Can we have our court stand up? Can you give them a huge round of applause? Your 2024 Rose Court. All right, the time, you may sit. Thank you, ladies. Now the time is almost here to announce the 105th Rose Queen. At this time, I would like to invite the Rose Court to excuse themselves. They're going to go get ready. We can clap while they leave because they like that. For our guests, before you all head over to the dessert table, let me remind you that the announcement and coronation of the 105th Rose Queen will take place on the front steps of Tournament House at 2:30 this afternoon. Please make sure and begin making your way to the front lawn by around 2:15. As you make your way, please stop by the table to take the red roses provided by Passion Growers. Until then, we invite you to enjoy your dessert, enjoy each other's company. They would also ask me to ask you to please make sure that the chairs are available to those who need seating. I've so enjoyed being here with you today. Thank you so much for letting me continue to come here and spend this very, very cherished time with you. I hope you will tune in to Today in LA, Monday through Friday at 4 a.m. It's awfully early. I had to give you a little plug, right? On behalf of the Pasadena Tournament of Roses Association, President Alex I'm sorry, wait, I got to get this right, sir. Agajanian. Close? Alex with the cool tie. And the 2024 Rose Court, we would like to thank you once again for joining us today for this very, very special presentation. Take care. Be safe.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Gary. Good afternoon. My name is Alex Agajanian, and I have the great honor in serving as the president of the 2024 Rose Parade of the Pasadena Tournament of Roses Association. Each year for the past 104 years, the Pasadena Tournament of Roses has selected the most outstanding young women in our community to serve as its ambassadors. This year, that process began just 7 weeks ago. Right here, hundreds of young women from throughout our community gathered, all in hopes of becoming a part of this beloved tradition. Less than 4 weeks ago, we proudly introduced our 2024 Rose Court, and since then, they have been busy working with our outstanding coaches on public speaking, media training, etiquette, and leadership. In between all of that work, they've managed to have some fun too, and the fun is just beginning. Today, I have the pleasure of announcing this year's Rose Queen, and I am delighted to be joined by our 100th Rose Queen, Isabella Marquez, back from London. And now, let's meet our court. Ladies and gentlemen, please please join me in welcoming from South Pasadena High School, Phoebe Ho. Ladies and gentlemen, Phoebe Ho from South Pasadena High School. From Marshall Fundamental, Trinity Dela Cruz. From Flint Ridge Preparatory School, Mia Moore Walker. From LaSalle High School, Olivia Bohannes. From Arcadia High School, Naomi Stilitano. From Blair High School, Emerson Tucker. And from Flint Ridge Preparatory School, Jessica Powell. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you the 2024 Rose Court. Ladies, we have arrived at that moment that we've all been waiting for. But before I reveal the Queen, I want to tell you how proud you've already made me and how honored I am to be sharing this year with you. And now, Missy, may I have the envelope, please? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the 105th Rose Queen is Naomi Stilatano. Queen Naomi. Queen Naomi, I'm going to ask you on behalf of the Rose Court to take the Queen's oath. Are you ready? I receive this crown
I receive this crown
as a symbol of being named
as a symbol of being named
as the 105th Rose Queen
as the 105th Rose Queen
by the Pasadena Tournament of Roses.
by the Pasadena Tournament of Roses.
I value the significance
I value the significance
of the role of the Rose Queen
of the role as the Rose Queen
and pledge to honor and celebrate
and pledge to honor and celebrate
the history and traditions
the history and traditions
set forth by the 104 Rose Queens
set forth by the 104 Rose Queens
who came before me,
and
I embrace that responsibility. On behalf of the 2024 Rose Court,
on behalf of the
2024
Rose Court
this year,
there you go.
we accept the trust placed in us as ambassadors for the Tournament of Roses and vow to uphold the cherished traditions and support the association's unwavering commitment to the Pasadena community. We promise to enrich the lives of the people and organizations with whom we meet. This is our solemn pledge. Queen Naomi. Ladies and gentlemen, from Mickey Moda of Beverly Hills, please welcome Diane Hoover. I'll do it backwards, I don't care. Okay.
Switch this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 105th Rose Queen and the 2024 Royal Court.